What's up, fam? I'm Jazz, and this is Blackxecutive, a networking podcast for Black creative pros by Black creative pros, sharing inspirational stories, actionable advice, and giving away the game to succeed in your business and your career. Join the network where dreamers become doers and the aspiring become inspired. Listen and watch on blackxecutive.com. Let's get to it. What's up, Blackxecutive fam? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Blackxecutive Podcast. I'm your host, Jazz, as usual. And today we're talking to Attorney Lyvonne Jones with the Creators Law Firm. She holds an associate's degree in psychology, bachelor's degree in anthropology with a minor in sociology, master's degree in criminal justice with a specialization in legal writing, and a Juris Doctorate degree. Welcome to the show, Lyvonne.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. And you got degrees on top of degrees. Like, my goodness. I respect it though. I respect it. I definitely value higher ed. So I see the value in that for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so one thing I want to, of course, let listeners know that we met from, both being on a panel for Women in Leadership for another a podcast. Shout out to It Is What It Is podcast. So check that out. Giving him a plug there. And one thing that really caught my attention about you was like your story of becoming an attorney and like what it means to you. So can you talk about that, like to kind of kick us off?
Yeah. But first of all, let me just let everybody know that I am an intellectual property attorney with the Creators Law Firm. I report directly to the CEO and founder of the Creators Law Firm, Attorney Takora Davis. So for my story, while my family is originally from Bermuda, but we moved to the United States permanently when I was in high school. And I was raised by a single mother. So we didn't live in the best neighborhoods. I didn't go to the best schools and things like that. But when I was younger, I was so plagued by so much shyness that I hardly ever talked, really. Yeah. And I dealt with a lot of like depression and being bullied in school.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times, because either I was in a Bermudian school or sometimes I was in an American school, I was always the only Black child there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was also a challenge as well. So I really didn't feel like my voice was validated, I guess. And so when I was in school, I really loved learning. That's the reason why I have so many degrees. I just love learning. I would love to be a professional student if I could. So I naturally thought that I would become either like a historian or a cultural anthropologist or something of that nature. But secretly, I really wanted to become a lawyer. Mm-hmm. I would see lawyers on TV and they were the complete opposite of me, right? Mm-hmm. They were so bold, they was brazen, so powerful, they were very vocal. And so I always wanted to become an attorney, but because of my shyness and my crippling anxiety, I just cast it aside. Mm-hmm. And just didn't think that, it was in the cards for me. But in high school, one of my teachers was actually an attorney, and he told me, like, you're always top of your class. You have a knack for writing. You should think about law school. And I was like, no. And one time at church, we had a visiting pastor who said the same thing. He was all like, I see her becoming a lawyer. And my mom, she was all like, you have the wrong child. You must be talking about my other daughter because she doesn't talk. And then after I got my first bachelor's degree, I actually started working in a law firm as a paralegal. Mm-hmm. And some of the attorneys would tell me, you should go to law school. And I was just like, no.
All the signs, he just kept ignoring them.
I know. And then even while I was doing my master's, I was working at another law firm. And again, people were saying, like, you should try at least take the, law school entrance exam.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no. And after a while working at the law firm, I was looking around and I thought, I really don't want this to be my life. Like, I don't want to live
Mm-hmm.
in this cubicle for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went home that day and I was like, okay, God, I will take the LSATs. I will take the exam. I will only go to law school if I'm accepted to every law school that I apply to. And
Mm.
and I was. And
Wow.
I was like, oh, now I'm going to have to go.
Wow. I mean, if that's not a sign, like, come on. Like, what else do you want? I have to be
I
accepted
know.
into everyone gets accepted into, like, come on.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. But yeah, when I started law school, one of the professors, he was I'm pretty sure he was like one of the only Black professors at my law school. And
Mm-hmm.
so I guess he saw something in me and he took me under his wing and just helped me along the way in law school. And he would like push me out of my comfort zone every
Mm-hmm.
chance I got. And he would force me to speak every chance that I got. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, but it was really helping me.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I finished law school and I passed the bar, I first started working at an immigration law firm, helping with deportation and cancellation of removal and things of that nature. And but my heart was really wanting to help entrepreneurs and
Mm-hmm.
creatives. Um, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I am very creative. So I really wanted to do intellectual property because I feel like in law, that's like the heart of creativity
Mm-hmm.
in terms of legal protection. And it just so happened when I decided to quit the immigration firm that the Creators Law Firm was hiring and looking for an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And what attracted me initially was the fact that they were providing a remote position. And
Mm-hmm.
I decided that I wanted to work remotely so I can travel a lot more because I really enjoy traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And even though that was in my heart and I was really trying hard to work remotely, a lot of professionals in the legal industry was like, that's impossible. You can't work remotely as a lawyer. That's unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw that job posting, I was like,
Yeah.
so yeah, and so I started working at the Creators Law Firm in 2018, and my boss, she's the same way. Every chance
Mm-hmm.
she gets, she pushes me out of my comfort zone and makes me
Mm-hmm.
talk and makes me, lead meetings and, have all of these things and do all of these new things. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's basically my story.
Wow, I was taking notes because you like touched on a lot of things. And I know you mentioned like you credit your one of your professors and your boss for pushing you out of your comfort zone, but I know that's something that you had to work on too as a professional. So like, what did you do? How did you push yourself to break out of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was so gradual because really, when I look back, I didn't start actually talking to other people outside of my family until I was about 25. So
Wow.
yeah, so it was like little steps. So I would tell myself, okay, you're gonna go to the grocery store by yourself. Or I would say, like, okay, I'm gonna, ask a stranger a question or
Mhm.
something, or I would say, okay, I will go to this church event by myself. And so it was like little baby steps. And,
Mhm.
and on top of that, like my family, my mom and my sister, they also stopped. Like I feel like around age 20, they completely stopped enabling me. They were,
Mm,
we're not going to speak for you. We're not going to, go to places for you anymore.
mm-hmm,
And so it was that as well. And then on top of that, yeah, law school hit me hard because I feel like since I love learning, I'm a perfectionist. I'm
mm-hmm.
always trying to get those straight A's.
Yeah.
And when I was in law school, to get those straight A's, you had to,
The talk.
yeah, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
vocal, you have to do speeches, you have to argue. And I feel like by putting myself in that position, that forced me to accomplish my goal of, even though it was just, a grade,
Mm-hmm.
um, it really forced me to, step out of my comfort zone and actually speak. So I think it's a combination of a wide array of things, family helping you, you
Mm-hmm.
taking those little steps in your mind, trying to figure out like how you're going to overcome this fear. And actually, another big thing is fake it until you make it.
Hey,
Even,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, even sometimes when I'm speaking, I'm super terrified. I
Mm-hmm.
just tell myself, whatever, just fake it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And before I know it, I'm finally comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. Like the fact that you're like, I'm gonna go to the grocery store by myself. Like, wow, that I never even thought about like it being to the point that you're like, I need someone to go with me because I want to
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, yeah,
That's
that's how bad
crazy.
it was.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that you made some progress on that. I kind of had a slightly similar story as far as on the career side.
Mhm.
With having to speak up, like you said in law school, like you had in order to succeed, you had to talk. So I'm a Black woman in tech, and if I do not talk, literally people will not let me speak my entire career because like my career was so white and male. So
Yeah. Mhm.
I totally hear you, and I feel that I know exactly what you mean. It's like
Mhm.
you have to get your voice out there.
Right, exactly, exactly.
For sure, for sure. So another thing that really stood out to me, and that you seem to be passionate about is making sure that Black attorneys know that they have other paths and they can create their own lane. And you spoke a bit about, your experience trying to, just find a job after graduating. So can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so in the legal industry, of course, just so you can understand, there's only 5% of attorneys who are Black
Wow.
and nationwide. So it's definitely a place where we need a lot more representation. Yeah, I hardly ever see anybody who looks like me.
Mm,
And so even in law school, it was sparse. And so after I finished law school, I was on the dean's list several times. I received the Pro Bono Honors Awards. I received a professionalism award. I was
mm,
editor in chief of the Property Law Journal, and I
wow.
became captain of my negotiations team. On top of that, I passed the bar my first time, the same bar that Ivy League, you know,
Wow.
hey,
Hmm.
I sent out over 100 resumes and I didn't get one call back.
My goodness.
Yeah. 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 And then that immigration law firm that I worked for was actually opened by one of my peers. Um, she
Mm,
she's a Spanish woman, and she wanted to help her people, with deportation and
mhm,
immigration issues. So she opened up her own law firm. I'm assuming that she probably had the same pushback, right?
mhm, yeah.
And so when I started working there, it was small time, it was a small law firm or whatever. And then when I decided that I wanted to leave because I really wanted to work with more entrepreneurs and people with in the creative space, First thing I did was starting to freelance.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I see a lot of my peers, especially people who are African American, opening up their own law firms or opening up different businesses. You know what? I'm going to have to do the same thing. I'm going to have to create my own lane. And obviously, we cannot follow the same traditional path as the other law students are doing, because
Yeah.
most of the law students that I was sitting next to, their parents, their aunts, their uncles, their cousins were attorneys, or
Mm.
they worked in the law firms. They already had, networking in place. They already knew a lot of people. It was like finding a job was not even a worry for them
Yeah.
at all. And so for me, I was like, I don't even know where to start to try to network.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my law license in South Carolina, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a lot of like Black legal networking events or what have
Mm-hmm.
you in the South. And
Right.
um so I just basically had to, first of all, I leaned on one of my friends who was a financial advisor, and he started giving me some clients. And so I started freelancing that way, and offering like contract drafting services and, some advisement, just, dabbling a little bit and trying my best to network online,
Mm-hmm.
even though I was still, struggling with my own introversion and stuff like that. I was still trying to get myself out there and do something different. And thankfully, because of this networking and finding another attorney who started her own law firm, who happened to go to the same law school as me,
Mm-hmm.
were able to connect, and I was able to apply for her position. And I think that's really important for Black attorneys, is to don't feel like they are stuck to follow the status quo,
Mm-hmm.
especially in an industry that obviously is not crafted for us. So
Yes.
we're going to have to find our own way. We're going to have to do something different. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's power in that. When you
Mm-hmm.
finally decide that you're going to do something different and
Mm-hmm.
you're going to just do you and not try to distract yourself from the traditional route, I think a lot of people take notice.
Mm.
And and in the Black community, I feel like we start seeking out our who people who look like us, not only
Mm-hmm.
in the legal industry, but in the creative space or in the
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurial space. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We definitely do that, and I'm sure the fact that you're like in intellectual property law, it's like there are even fewer Black attorneys in IP law, and
Mm-hmm.
I actually considered law school on and off several times, and it was IP law as well because
Oh
I'm a creative. Yeah,
yeah.
because I'm a creative, and I wanted to know. Like I used to when I was a kid, I would see my brother was like big into music, and he's in the music industry now. But I would see him like make music and then do the poor man's copyright and like send it to himself and not open it, you know. That like kind of inspired me. So I was like, why, like what does that mean? Why did you do that? Can we not afford? Like, what is all this? And it kind of sparked my interest into that.
Yeah.
But I never pursued it, but I'm pretty sure it's like even more of a rarity.
Yeah,
Mhm.
when I looked it up, it said that there's only 1.9% of Black attorneys in intellectual property.
Wow. Wow.
And I'm sure I couldn't find the number, but I'm sure the number for Black women
It's
intellectual
even
property.
lower.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my God.
I
Oh
know.
my God. Wow. That now I'm like, should I have pursued that path? No.
Girl,
No.
you still got time if you want to.
Hey, I switch gears so much, you never know. You never
Yeah.
know where I'll end up. Yeah, I'm glad you spoke on that. Speaking of women, one thing that I really respect about the Creators Law Firm is that y'all specialize in helping women entrepreneurs grow their businesses. And we have seen the stats over and over, if you haven't seen it by now, that Black women are leading in entrepreneurship. we're leading in all these degrees. Point A, like exhibit A right here. So can you talk a bit about that as a difference as a law firm and the mission behind that?
Yeah, so at the Creators Law Firm, we are a premium boutique intellectual property and business law firm. We offer subscription services and on-demand legal projects as well. We specifically help creatives. I want to say about 90% of our clients are Black women. They are legacy-driven entrepreneurs, influencers,
Mm-hmm.
and business owners. They are thriving in their purpose and pioneering their paths for others. So
Mm-hmm.
what we specialize in is providing culturally relevant legal services. So that will include contracts drafting, trademarks, copyrights, infringement defense, even negotiations for any business transactions that your business could be going through.
Mm-hmm.
So what we like to do as a firm is not only just provide them the legal services, but we love to empower them with the tools needed to protect their products, their programs, and their profits. And the way how we do this is we also provide education.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, we are trying to revamp our website by including a lot more videos that educate our clients on not only how to leverage their business, but also how to leverage their intellectual property. So that's like a
Mm-hmm.
passion of ours, making sure that after you are done getting your legal services from us, that you're also educated and you actually know what you have. You actually know the steps that you need to take.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want you to just, get your contract and don't even know what was in that contract. We actually take the time and we sit down with our clients and we explain each clause so they understand what is included within their contract, what is being protected in their business,
Mm-hmm.
and that nature. We also make sure they understand the importance of intellectual property and how to police their intellectual property from infringement. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we really want our clients to succeed, and we really want them to have peace of mind when it comes to their legal foundation, because then they can focus on expanding their businesses, impacting the marketplace even more, and really really shining in their industry. Mhm.
Wow, yeah, that is so important. Like, and I love that y'all are educating, and I'm sure. Like, I know for myself, I never like to categorize all Black women as the same, but I know for me, I like to take things into my own hands, and I need someone to help me the first time, but after I learn how to do it, I want to do it
Yeah,
myself. So,
yeah,
I love that education piece. Like, if I have to go through this trademark application the first time, I don't want to have to keep paying you every time I need to file a trademark. Like, I want to know how to do it myself, and the
yeah,
other services I can hire you to, help me with. So,
right.
yeah, that's important. And I know that for a lot of Black women, that empowerment piece and that ownership piece is so important. That's because we like to get stuff done. Let's get
Yeah.
it done.
Yes.
So you're
Yeah.
passionate about women being entrepreneurs. Can you talk about why is it important for women specifically and Black women to be
Yeah.
entrepreneurs?
Yeah, most definitely. So I feel like women are incubators for vision, right? So, and also feel like entrepreneurship is the vehicle that drives that vision into fruition.
Mm,
So entrepreneurship also provides women with financial freedom. And I
mhm,
feel like with financial freedom, women feel even more empowered to impact their community.
mhm.
Because that's what women are prone to do. They always want to make sure everything is taken care of. They want to make
Yes.
sure that they are secure. And then once everything is secure, their finances are in order, then they go out there and start impacting the community, start serving people, and start making change. Right? So I feel like entrepreneurship is an empowerment piece for women. It makes
Mhm.
women unstoppable, creates change. And I feel like naturally, women are visionaries, right? We're always dreaming, we're always thinking about something more. We
Yes.
have so much ideas within our minds. And Yeah, and I just feel like entrepreneurship reignites that type of vision within us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the most precious things that we have is authentic, pure creativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and one thing that I really love, I think I saw this quote on on Instagram one time, but it says that there is no one like you in the world, and that's your superpower. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like with entrepreneurship, you can take whatever makes you you and monetize it, and
Mm-hmm.
then create financial freedom, and then change your community.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I feel like entrepreneurship is so important. And I think every woman should at least dabble in it a little bit or even just have
Yeah.
a side hustle, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I'm totally with that. Like, I feel like everyone should have a side hustle, some type of passive income,
Yeah,
even if like you don't feel that you're called to be like a full-time entrepreneur, having something going on so that if you ever are in a position where you don't have access to that 9 to 5 and that steady paycheck, you can survive.
exactly.
You
And
can
I
survive.
feel like in this day and age, you can't just survive well with just one job, right?
No.
Like, yeah, I feel like that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't matter how much money you make, even if you get to this point and you're making six figures, well into six figures or whatever. If you're smart about it, you should still have multiple other streams of income. You should, because if at that point,
Exactly.
if you're making, $500,000 a year, you lose that for any reason, you're not gonna be able to maintain any of your assets.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and I think,
Mhm.
with last year and the whole coronavirus thing, it has really showed people that tomorrow's not promised,
Yes.
and we cannot, rely on things that are put in, place for us because that's not even, sustainable either,
Mhm.
People
Yeah.
think, like, "If I have a job, I'll be fine. If anything happens,"
No.
not anymore, you know?
No. Have
Yeah.
your money spread out, have your money in multiple forms, not just
Exactly.
cash.
Exactly. Yes, yes. Mhm.
Yes, that's important. So, let's say that, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm starting my business, and I just have an idea and a few sales. So, what are a few things that I need to do to have my business in order, legally sound?
Okay, so, I'm gonna kinda go backwards. So I think, number 4 is to, seek out and invest your time with a mentor. I feel like
Mm,
mentorship is so important, and a lot of people don't even think that's important. They just, try to fly on the seat of their pants and hope something works, you know?
yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that are offering mentorship and offering advice, and they wanna see other people succeed, right? So
Mhm,
I think mentorship is very important. The next thing is if you don't have your domain name and social media handles, make sure that all of that is secured. But
mhm,
also make sure that you have appropriate business contracts in place, right? Like
mhm,
before I got onto the podcast, I had to sign, a release form. That's a
mhm,
business contract that is protecting not only the podcast, but also your business and your content. And
mhm,
that is very important because contracts governs your relationship with your clients and your customers, your team members, even your website. It can protect, right?
mhm,
And the next thing I would say is to make sure that your business is legally formed correctly, whether it's
mm,
an LLC or a corporation, because it directly affects you from a tax perspective, right?
mhm,
And a liability perspective. If your business is not formed, you may have to pay higher taxes, or you could be
mm,
sued, or your personal assets can be up for grabs, right?
mhm.
But the number one thing that I always tell people who call me is before you start a business, I feel like the best way to start your business is number 1, get your business name or your logo or whatever it is that you representing your business, make sure it is trademarked.
Yes.
Number 1. Number 1, because you don't want to go ahead and start a business and then immediately get hit with the cease and desist letter, and you're just like blindsided, and
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I didn't know that somebody else's name was already taken, and
Mm-hmm.
all of these issues ensue. So that's what I say number one is trademarks.
Trademarks. Okay, good pivot because I have a question about that. So like with trademarks are number one. Like I know when I had to go through the process of like trying to get everything together for Blackxecutive, the application they will ask you like business name, company name, or whatever. What if I don't have my LLC? Then what?
Yeah. So what some people will do is go ahead and put the trademark in their own personal name. And once they secure that LLC, you can just go ahead and update the form and put your business name. And
Hmm.
it's not really that hard to do. We would just need to do it, what we call an assignment. So we
Hmm.
just assign the trademark to your new business name.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So that answers that question because I know it comes up a lot. Like, what's first, the LLC or sole proprietorship or your trademark?
Yeah.
And I've seen it's all over the place. Some people are like, prove the concept first before you trademark anything. Like, prove because if you have a business that's not even viable and you trademark it, you know, um,
No,
you're like, no.
no, no, I don't agree because I
Mhm.
want to say probably a lot more than half of the calls that I will receive is, oh my gosh, I've been, having this business. It's successful. Now everything's at risk because I was hit with a cease and desist letter. I am so
Mm,
scared. I don't know what to do. And I don't like giving people bad news. I
mhm,
don't like telling people, you're going to have to rebrand, or sometimes at
mm,
the worst case scenario, we basically have to try to negotiate a settlement. And that is
mm.
based upon however much sales you've made under that infringed upon name.
Wow.
And I'm like, why would you why wouldn't you want to trademark and make sure that you can, in fact, own this business? Because
Yeah.
just having an LLC or a corporation does not provide you ownership. Just
Mhm,
having your business formed, it's only giving you permission to run a business within that state, right?
mhm,
So a trademark is what actually gives you ownership of your brand.
mhm,
And it protects your brand, it protects your content, it protects your ideas and other works that you have created within your business.
mhm.
And make sure that your reputation is intact, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to get hit with a cease and desist letter. It has to rebrand, and now your reputation is tarnished. You don't know if you'll have the same
Mhm,
following. You're going to have to change everything, get new social media names.
mhm.
And on top of that, a threat of a lawsuit plants a seed of fear. Now
Mm,
now your spirit for entrepreneurship is damaged. You don't even know if you even want to continue.
mm,
And then not only will you have to pay all of this legal cost, but on top of that, now your spirit is dwindling. So
mhm.
I feel like that's the reason why you have to make sure that you can actually own the name and secure your trademark first.
Yes, yes, that's so smart and important. And there was a guest on this show, season 1, and they have a podcast called Lovology Podcast. I'm just plugging all my people today.
Yeah,
Um, but they have a podcast and he talks about on the podcast, like, as soon as I got the name in my head, we called an attorney the same day to
right.
get it trademark, and glad they went through an attorney because there are books out there called Lovology. There's all other other stuff out there called Lovology. And the attorney
Mhm.
was able to research that, find that, and say, okay, well, you have to be Lovology podcast specifically. And
Yeah,
we're going to be in these categories or whatever.
exactly.
And it was important to have that legal, mind handling that. Cause like, you don't know that world. He could have like fumbled all
Yeah,
kinds of lawsuits.
exactly. And like some people, they always think like, oh, I'm just going to start this business because I'm sure nobody else has this name, but you don't know everybody
Mhm.
who's out there. I mean,
Yeah.
like nationwide, there's going to be somebody else who comes up with the same name or the same concept as you. So you want to make sure that, all of that is protected right out the gate.
Yes. Yes. That's so important. So if someone files a trademark
Mhm.
and it is rejected, because I know it takes a long time, it could take like up to a year or something like that.
Yeah, it takes
Mhm.
9 to 15 months to
Wow.
secure your trademark. Yeah.
Mhm. So if it's rejected, what happens then? What is the next step?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So usually what happens is the trademark office, they will issue a letter, and this letter is what they call an office action. So an office action basically lets you know if there's something wrong with your trademark application, right? And there's could be like a wide array of things that could be wrong. It could
Mhm.
be something minor, such as, oh, you put a comma when there should be a semicolon. Yes, it's seriously that detailed. Yeah. Or
Wow.
it could be like, oh, we don't like the kind of description that how you explained your services. So we want you to draft it this way. Or it can be that, hey, we think that somebody else's trademark is kind of similar to yours, so we're going to reject it. So if
Mhm.
it does become rejected, what I would recommend is contact an attorney, because for you to even respond to an office action, you have to have an attorney. They will not
Wow.
allow just, anybody to respond to the office action. So you have to make sure that you have an attorney to respond to it. Because a lot of times an attorney can actually review an office action and review the reasons why they are saying that your trademark application is rejected. And we will already have in mind different legal arguments that we can put into paper and let
Mhm.
them know, like, hey, you said that this mark is very similar to this other person's trademark. We disagree, and these are the reasons why.
Mhm.
And if we can argue that very strongly, then we can make them change their mind and then like
Mhm.
the trademark registration. So make sure that you contact an attorney if your trademark is rejected.
Oh, wow, that's important. I didn't know that you could, like, dispute it and stuff like that, so that's good
Mhm.
info. I
Yeah.
always thought that if it got rejected, you're just like, "Uh-oh, SOL."
No, 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 no. Mhm.
Okay, good to know. Kinda pivoting off of that, so when it comes to, like, you have your business up, you have, your trademark filed, and you trademark the name.
Mhm.
Not the logo. Can you talk the difference between trademarking your name versus copywriting the logo or trademarking the logo and how that works?
Yeah, yeah, that's a
Mhm.
really great question. I've never had anybody ask me that question before. That's awesome. So, trademarking the name is just, what we call a word mark.
Mm,
So, Black Executive, if you trademark the name Black Executive in connection with a podcast, you would be able to use that word Black Executives together. And anytime you're referencing your podcast, so you can use that at any time. A
mhm,
logo is actually what we are protecting is the design. So
mm,
all of the elements within the logo, even the colors, even if
mhm,
you have like a squiggly line or a box in the in between the words or whatever have you, we are protecting the design. So that design of the logo is what's being protected, because sometimes when you are running your business, sometimes you don't want to put your logo on, I don't know, a letterhead or something.
mhm,
You just want to say Black Executive on the letterhead, just type it out, right? At
mhm.
least the words is protected. And the logo, the design is what is going to be protected. Mhm.
Okay, okay, that's good to know. That's
Mhm.
good to know. So I know that was new information for me when I went down this journey, and I was like, "Oh, so it's just not I just can't, like, throw the logo up there and it's all it's like, nope, you gotta have the name, the logo is different."
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of rules and lots of reasons why you need to hire an attorney.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of people think that it's really simple, that they just need to fill out an application, like, just like a LLC or sole proprietorship or something of that nature. And it's really not that easy. It's really much
Mm,
more in depth. And even the application can be really confusing as well,
mhm.
especially if you're not trained and you don't understand the type of language that the trademark office is looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
One last thing before we kinda pivot to, back to entrepreneurship a little bit. Can you talk about the difference between a trademark, a copyright, and a patent?
Yes, that's a great question. So, a trademark is basically a tagline or word or a business name or even a logo. And in rare cases, it can also be a sound, like,
Mm.
with Law and Order and the dun dun
Oh,
at the
wow.
beginning, that
Yeah.
could be a trademark. Or even it could be a color in rare cases, like the
Mm.
Tiffany color blue. That's
Yeah.
a trademark,
You see
right?
companies do that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what a trademark is a protection for your word, phrase, logo, or tagline, and it's also associated with helping people identify your unique products and services. So a trademark is always attached to the type of goods or services that you are providing within your business, right? And a trademark is the only intellectual property that will last forever.
Mm,
Okay, so it's very important. As for a patent protects a type of invention. Sometimes you can even get a patent on a design, like the design of a Coca Cola bottle.
mhm.
That ornamental feature of a Coca Cola bottle can be patentized, right?
Mm,
And patents, they have a certain type of lifespan. Patents can also apply to man-made plants, or man-made genomes. So that's it's like a kind of a lot of people who do patent laws, they actually have to have like a chemistry background or
mm,
technical backgrounds because it's very detailed in that type of technicalized way, right?
mhm,
And as for a copyright, so a copyright protects literary and artistic works in what's called a fixed tangible medium. So I know that's kind of weird, but basically what that explains is a type of book or a podcast, videography, choreography, sculpture,
mm,
arts, graphic designs. So it's in a medium that people can experience. So it's not enough that you just have a story in your head. You have to actually write out the book, write out the novel, write out the story in a type of text where you can distribute it to other people. So that's a kind of copyright. Um,
mhm.
Copyrights, they will last during your lifespan plus 75 years after your untimely demise.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's your little overview of copyrights, trademarks, and patents.
There you go. So if you didn't know what you needed, that should clear it up for you.
Yes.
So if you have your business name, trademark. If you have a dope shirt design, copyright.
Exactly.
So there you go. Awesome. So you already touched on this a little bit, but what are some of the most common legal pitfalls that you see happen with creatives?
Oh, okay. That's a great question. So, I would say the common pitfall, of course, is not trademarking your name. That's most of the
Mm,
calls that we get is people not protecting their brand, and then their legacy is basically at risk, and they're trying to scramble to try to figure out what they can do to protect it. Um,
mhm,
Another issue that I always see is not having any contracts in place, and
mm,
not only contracts that govern business transactions, but also contracts that governs relationships. So if you
mm,
have a partnership in your business, a lot of times I will get clients who says, well, I don't know who will who's able to access the bank. I don't know
mm,
who's able to sign this document or that document. And I even had a call recently where a client was like, I don't know who's going to own the intellectual property because I feel like it should be me, not the
mm,
other person, because I came up with the name.
mhm. Yeah.
And they didn't have any contract in place that governs what each person is responsible for, or what each person can do.
Mhm.
And so making sure that you have those contracts in place, make sure that your business runs smoothly, and then also make sure that your brand is also protected within the business as well. So those are the two things that I most usually see. Mhm.
That's really important, especially the contracts. Like, I know a lot of times we start business with kinfolk, your
Yeah,
cousin, that's my homegirl. And it's like, we cool. It's it. Y'all should know. Y'all
yeah,
should have seen enough, what is it, VH1 Behind the Music fan stories to know.
I know. And it's such a shame. And it's crazy sometimes. And sometimes it can even rise to the level of a lawsuit or
Mhm.
and I've seen that happen as well, even for not even having an appropriate contract for clients. And like if you offer an online course, and then somebody gets into the online course and starts acting crazy and making people feel uncomfortable in the group chat, you don't know what you
Wow.
have to do, right? It's not in
Mhm.
the contract. So then what do you do then? So you have to think of things like that
Mm.
when it comes to contracts that really governs, the piece within your business and making sure that everything runs like smoothly, right?
Wow. So you just covered a lot of stuff I hadn't even thought about. Like, online courses, like, I spent a large part of my career working in, higher ed and online courses, and I never thought about that. Like, of course, I worked for a college, so that was all handled, with our legal team, but I thought about doing some independent stuff, and, and think about that, someone gets to acting a fool in the course, you know?
Yeah,
What
I
what
know.
what do you have in place to handle that? So, with that being said, like, all of these random things that happen that a lot of times entrepreneurs don't think about, uh, what what would you suggest for someone who wants to be proactive? Like, I know you say you get a lot of calls about trademark and copywriting, and after pretty much after people have gotten in hot water and they're like, help.
Mhm.
What
Yeah.
for someone who's like, I'm proactive, I'm a go-getter, and I know I have this idea and I know it's gonna pop. Like, what do? I just contact you and what?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, first of all, yes, I think one of your first calls should be calling an intellectual property attorney, because what basically starts a business is creative ideas, right? So, you
Mm,
want to make sure immediately that those creative ideas are protected before you start marketing, before you start, sharing it with other people and sharing it within the marketplace, because there is a lot of infringement going on in these internet streets. I'm telling you, people
mm,
are just sitting there waiting for the next idea, and then they go and steal it. I mean, like,
mm,
it's so common. So you want to make sure that right out the gate, you have an intellectual property attorney, and you get your trademarks, secured. And yeah, so you can like call the creators law firm if you want to.
mhm,
We have a website, www.creatorslawfirm.com. So you can, of course, call us, or just do your own due diligence. And one thing I would say not to do is I stay away from LegalZoom, right? That's what I would
mm,
say. Don't, I mean, like, because really you get what you pay for, right?
mm.
So
Yeah.
you really have to keep that in mind. LegalZoom, they usually just hire paralegals to do the work, and a lot of times it's incorrect, and we're always fixing a lot of things that LegalZoom is doing.
Mm,
So make sure you understand that as well. And then I know there's a lot of people out there who's like, well, I don't really have the funds, right?
mhm,
Make sure that I get a really good attorney. There are other avenues that you can take. So, for example, just doing a simple Google search, or just going ahead and at least contacting the bar associations in your state. A lot
mhm,
of times, the bar associations have pro bono clinics where attorneys will volunteer their time and
mhm,
help you with either your business contracts, or help you with their trademark application. And a lot of times they will only just charge a small fee. Another avenue that you can take is contacting a local law school. A lot of times they have trademark clinics or business clinics where you can actually go in there and hire them to do either your business contracts or your trademark application. And yeah, they are law students who do it, but they are, you know, working under the law license of their professor. So their professor really make sure that they're doing things the correct way. And the only thing that I would say about that is that they will, you know, take a long time to get all of that completed for you. But yeah, just make sure that you know that this is very important and that it should be top of mind for your business, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I actually heard about that option once I started my whole process. I know there was a really good link on their site. So if you're listening, you can find it in the show notes. If you're watching this, I'll drop it in the comments below so you can find that link as well. In addition to links to the Creators Law Firm, because I would definitely advise you to go that route. Clearly, I think Lyvonne has shown this entire podcast that they know their stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
So you definitely want to give them a call so they can help you get your stuff in order, because you you have named so many situations that I'm just like, I did not even think about that. That could
Yeah.
be an ugly situation that you don't want to have to dig yourself out of.
Right, exactly. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, I don't like giving people bad news. I don't like telling people, you know, well, you know, you're gonna have to rebrand, or you're gonna have to pay a lot of money to, you know, get people off your back and stuff like that. So I feel like, especially in the Black community, we are not educated about our legal rights, and that's why I really like what the creative law firm is doing. And also, I think probably because we are so strong-minded, we always want to do things on our own, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
That's
can't
right.
figure it out on our own. But I feel like with legal services, you shouldn't try to do that on your own. And I understand that businesses are people's basically their baby, right? So a lot of people are like really apprehensive about anybody touching their baby or advising them what they should do with their baby. But when you actually have an actual child, don't you want to make sure that they get the best doctors or in the best schools? So you should want to do the same thing for your business. Make sure that you have the best lawyers that advising you on how you should handle your business, right? So you should really think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And I love that you said y'all also are subscription based. So if you cannot afford to have an in-house attorney,
Yep. Yep.
there you go. So I love that. I love when not only to see Black businesses thrive, but to see us, you know, be innovative in the way that we go about building products and services to be unique to our community's needs. And we know, like, sometimes we need that flexibility of having a subscription based
Yeah,
service for an attorney, you know.
exactly.
It breeds innovation for sure. For
Mhm.
sure.
Right.
All right. So as we get ready to wrap up, what is a current read or recommended read or past read, anything to help people better understand the legal side of their business?
Yeah, so I actually asked my CEO of the law firm this question, and she actually recommended the Bible, and I was like, oh yeah, she's probably right.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the Bible does have a lot of tips in there about business, and she believes that one of the first entrepreneurs was God, you know, when he created the earth, right? He was one of the first creatives that we've ever seen, you know. So most
Wow.
definitely look at the Bible. But another book is one of our clients. She wrote this amazing marketing and business playbook. It's called Uncloned Marketing: How to Challenge the Norms with Profitable Marketing Campaigns. That is an amazing book. And she's an amazing client. She is so creative. She's very business savvy, and she is serious about her intellectual property portfolio. She makes sure that she's leveraging everything that she creates. We always get calls from her like, hey, I got another trademark, you know? So she is so serious about her intellectual property, and I love how she runs her business. So her book is amazing. Another business book that I would recommend is the Personal MBA, Mastering the Art of Business. I think it's by Josh Kaufman. I think that is an amazing book because it essentially, what he promises is that you don't even need a master's degree in
Mhm.
business as long as you read his book. And it really is it gives you a great overview of business and
Mhm.
entrepreneurship and things that you should do to make sure that your business runs smoothly.
Wow, that is a bold claim. I'm definitely gonna have to check out him
Yeah.
and all of these that you said. The Bible was funny though. That tickled me. I was not That's probably the most unexpected answer I've ever heard on this show. That was a good one. That was actually quite creative,
Mhm.
to be on the nose with it. So how do you think your work impacts the Black community? You already spoke a lot about it, but just in
Mhm.
summary.
Yeah. So, just so your listeners can know, Black entrepreneurs have been historically marginalized and systematically targeted since the beginning of this country, right?
Yes.
And intellectual property was not always accessible to us. And we are seeing that now. Like, for example, with the Jack Daniels. We just
Mhm.
recently found out that it was Jack Daniels' slave who actually created, the Jack
Mhm.
Daniels ingredients, right? He did not have access to intellectual property. So his
Mhm.
family is not, benefiting from his creative works, right?
Mhm.
Our ideas, our culture, our creative works has been robbed time and time again. And so the mission of the Creators Law Firm is to reveal that Black entrepreneurship is not only revolutionary, but it's honorable and it's our
Mm.
right. And we should make sure that we protect our ideals because, all the time, I feel like a lot of ideas or creativity that's popping in the marketplace usually comes from the Black community, right?
Yes,
And
true.
but like for example, that girl who said that her eyebrows was on fleek, then everybody made
Yeah.
sure that they trademarked on fleek except her, you know?
Mm.
So I mean, intellectual property really does change people's lives and it really does secure a legacy. And once you have your legacy secured with intellectual property rights, you're able to go ahead and execute more creative visions and
Mhm.
allow more Black people to take back power within the marketplace. Mhm.
Yes, that is so important. Like, and I didn't even know that about her, like the on fleek. And that's crazy because we say stuff all the time and we
Yeah,
don't think anything of it. We're just talking, we're just being us with a little bit of flavor,
exactly.
and now we viral and people got it on shirts and oh my God.
Exactly, exactly, and it's such a shame,
Yeah.
I don't like seeing that, and I'm just like, "Man, somebody could have trademarked that and monetized it and then had their family set up for life,"
Yeah.
multi-generational wealth right there. So we're missing out. Mhm.
Yes, yes. So make sure that if you come up with any type of saying or anything that goes viral, get your stuff in order
Exactly,
immediately.
exactly, please do.
Yes. And what final advice would you have for creatives who are like, "Hey, I'm overwhelmed about like the legal side of this business. I don't know what to do." Like, what is your final advice for them?
Yeah, so my final advice is approach an attorney. At least have a consultation with them. At least try
Mm.
to get some understanding of what type of legal foundation that you need in your business.
Mhm.
One thing that a lot of people like to do is what is it called? Schedule a hour legal consultation with either me or my boss, Attorney Davis, and we like to make sure that we give you empowerment within our legal consultations. We want to know the ins and outs of your business, try to really gauge what you need, try to give you a time frame of what you should do within your business. A lot of times I will make sure and say, okay, listen, you need to do your trademarks first, and then your copyright, and then your contracts, and then you do this and this and this. So at least you would at least know where you're going or where you should go and what steps you should take legally to protect your business. And like I've been saying throughout this entire podcast, make sure that you secure your trademarks
Mm.
and make sure that your business has contracts.
Yes, that's so important. Make sure you have all that stuff in order. And on contracts, if quick question on that, I just thought about that. So if you have a contract and I'm just gonna draft it up myself, do I have to have an attorney review that for it to be legit, or can I literally, like, you hear about those stories where people like wrote down a contract real quick on a napkin and it holds up in court?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So I guess it all depends on what type of risk do you want to take when it comes to your business, right? Are
Mhm.
you willing to go ahead and draft a contract on a piece of napkin and just hope and hope on a prayer that it holds up in court? You know, you're actually just allowing your business to be, you know, basically you're just allowing a judge to just look and figure out whatever he can figure out within whatever you wrote on that piece of napkin. I
Mhm.
really wouldn't advise you to just be at the, behest of a judge, because he's
Mhm.
going to go ahead and give you a basic legal protection. But if you
Mhm.
have a lawyer actually draft your contract very robustly and make sure that everything that you are worried about, everything that you didn't even think about is in that contract and is fully protected, and that when a judge reads that contract, he knows, oh, okay, everything is listed out, everything. So I don't really have to make up any laws. I don't have to fill in any holes. I don't have to fill in any gaps. He will just be like, listen, it is what it is. It's written right here. So
Mhm.
you want to make sure that you are so protected. And one of the legal services that we do provide at the Creators Law Firm is we do offer contract redrafting services. So if you
Mhm.
want one of the attorneys to actually review a contract that either you drafted or somebody else drafted, we most definitely would do that.
Mhm.
And what we like to do is go clause by clause, explain what it is saying, whatever it is that you wrote or whatever this other person wrote in the clause. And actually we give recommendations of, listen, you need to put this in your contract, you're forgetting this clause doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
This is what's going to happen if you go ahead and use this contract. So we make sure that you understand the importance of whatever it is that you have in front of you, right? So if you want to take advantage of that, you can do that at your leisure as well. And of course, we also offer customized contracts drafting as well.
Mhm. That's important, y'all. Handle your damn business. Handle the
Exactly.
business. Like, literally get it in order to make sure that you have your stuff legally sound, because you just don't want to be in a situation where either you owe somebody or you're chasing down somebody else because they owe you.
Exactly, exactly. And a lot of people think that it's not needed. I don't know why, but I'm thinking probably because a lot of people feel safe behind a screen, like when they're dealing with online businesses, right?
Mhm.
But really, once you have binding contracts, it is you can get them from wherever they are. It will
Mhm.
protect you within your state. Like if they are coming to you and you run a business in Florida, and then they, sign up for your online course, and in your contract it states you agree to this contract by, taking this course, and something happens, even if they're in another state, they
Mhm.
will have to, adhere to the stipulations within your contract. You are able to bring forth a lawsuit against them. And a lot of people don't think about that, right?
Mhm.
They don't think about it until something happens, and we
Yeah.
really do have to be proactive, and we
Mhm.
we really have to be smart when it comes to our business.
Yes. Be proactive. Be smart when it comes to your business. You have a fire idea. You know it's hot. You know it's popping. Protect it.
Yes, yes.
Protect it. Protect it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, Lyvonne, it has been my pleasure to talk to you. Like, you have really come through with this legal knowledge. I know there are a lot of people who were taking notes. If not, they will probably go back and listen again and take notes. I was taking notes. And I appreciate you taking the time to like just share some of this insight because we need it in the community. We really do.
Yes, yes, and it was such a pleasure to be here and to talk to you. It was such an enjoyable time. Thanks.
Thank you. So, last thing, where can people find you to be in contact with you to hire the Creators Law Firm?
Yeah, so you can actually find me on Instagram by searching my name, Lyvonne Jones, Lyvonne Jones. And the Creators Law Firm is also on Instagram. So if you search Creators Law Firm, we're on Instagram, or you can just go to our website at www.creatorslawfirm.com. So yeah, check us out. Book a discovery call with us. Let us help you protect your intellectual property and make sure that you have a firm legal foundation in your business.
Y'all heard it? Go do it now. Get it done.
Mhm.
Thanks for watching Blackxecutive. Join the conversation in the comments below and be sure to like and subscribe. You can find a full list of all available podcast episodes on blackxecutive.com or wherever you stream. Until next time, keep aspiring to inspire.